Between the years of 1865 to 1900, America's entire economic system underwent a revolution. This era was known as the Gilded Age. Coined by Mark Twain, it was a time when America was a capitalistic nation ruled by companies that exhibited control over the government. This pattern proved, however, to not be limited to this time alone, but was most prevalent during it. The Gilded Age was significant in 19th century America and is relevant today because it forever changed the government's interaction with the economy. Privatized industry, unionization, and governmental corruption were all products of the Gilded Age. In late 19th century America, industrialized businesses were the backbone of the economy. Organized corporations ruled both production and making, virtually controlling America through the economy. One important aspect of these corporations was their brutal methods of expansion. As seen with Jay Gould in the rail system and J.D. Rockefeller with the oil industry, powerful corporate leaders often use unfair methods to destroy smaller companies and absorb portions of the market. The product of these takeovers was monopolization. By gaining the majority of a market, corporations could either fix prices or control them if they possessed completely unregulated monopolization. The thing responsible for this privatization was the trust system. By buying out all the stocks for control of trustees, companies were no longer controlled by shareholders and could act on their own unregulated by anyone. Throughout the entire Gilded Age, these corporations would maintain their unregulated tyranny over the American economy, leading to general anger amongst the working class. The tyrannical mistreatment of the working class led to an eventual backlash against the industrialist oppressors. Prior to unionization, groups of workers began to hold strikes. Incidents such as the railroad strikes proved to be futile attempts as they lasted long periods of time and achieved nothing. Due to the nature of governmental interactions with corporations, little to no government support was offered to laborers as it was not in their best interest financially. In order to effectively improve conditions for workers, unionization attempts arose. The Knights of Labor arose in order to provide support for all workers, but eventually collapsed under its own size. Learning from the failures of the Knights, unions began to emerge. These organizations were selective by picking only skilled workers and choosing more diplomatic approaches over violence. Ultimately, all these valiant attempts gained few benefits for workers as corruption had spread greatly into the echelons of society.
Many called the Gilded Age an era of corruption due to the conspicuous behavior of the government during this time. The Star Route scandal took place under President James A. Garfield in 1881, which numerous corrupt officials within the postal department conspired with malcontractors to charge inflated price and establish unnecessary new routes. Moreover, some investigations determined that the post office had been defrauded over $4 million, which attracted significant public attention and was an embarrassment to the government. In 1869, Jim Fisk and Jay Gould attempted to concern the gold market, and they spread a rumor about Black Friday, which President Grant assisted them indirectly. Although Grant ordered to release gold in response to gold's rising price and had personally declined to listen Gould's ambiguous plan, it has seriously damaged the prestige of U.S. economy and the government. The credit mobilier of American scandal of 1872 involved the Union Pacific Railroad that the construction company hired themselves out as contractors at enormous rate for huge benefit, and several prices of their stock that lead to the Union Pacific and other investors were left nearly bankrupt. This corruption cost the railroad inflated price and their stock that lead to the Union Pacific and other investors were left nearly bankrupt, and the decline of U.S. economy. Overall, corruption during the Gilded Age is a serious issue and affected the U.S. politically and economically. The Gilded Age is significant in the 19th century and beyond as it forever changed the function of the government and U.S. economy. Emerging corporation unions and corrupt government officials set examples that are followed to this day. Evidence of change to this day is not so clear, however. Private companies control almost every aspect of life from food to luxuries. Unions have drastically improved, but are often limited to labor professions and are still not present in countries where U.S. corporations outsource much of their labor. To this day, the majority of government officials receive massive payoffs, so the company may work around the law. While the U.S. situation may have drastically improved, it is arguable that we are